about this attitude maneuver, because it only turns direction for 90 degrees in, strictly speaking, in your direction. So the separation of the orbital module will leave the orbital plane of the remaining two modules.
This return trip is being watched closely, and now at this stage, this is the process where the re-entry capsule has separated from after the handover of the crews and before their return.
Right.
So from the screen, you can see the main engine has already ignited. You can see on the 3D animation, you can see the flame of the main engine interrupted.
How long could it last?
You can see that our ground station has already captured optical images of the re-entry capsule. You can see on the front is the big spot is our re-entry capsule, and you can see the beautiful trail, as I mentioned, is the debris of the propulsion module. Very beautiful. So every time you know that the manual for the food of each astronaut is customized based on his or her own home province. So you know that, for instance, for Mr. Ye Guangfu, because he's come from Sichuan province, so many
The parachute. Now this is the opening of the parachute, as Professor Zhang Fan mentioned just now, a very critical step of this entire landing mission. It looks like all is going well.
I'm covering the news. So here it is about the back in the April 2022. Well, at that time, the Commander Ye Guangfu was the member of the Shenzhou 13 crew, and now is
at one of the helicopters.
Exactly, that must be one of the 5 helicopters.
Sure.
Yeah. So we just heard the voice of the commander of the re-entry mission that the fourth prediction of the landing point has already been announced. So the commander needs to confirm with every team, including the helicopters and the ground teams.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is a video taken from one of the helicopter. We have 5 helicopters. One act as commander, one act as touchdown.
Touchdown.
Yeah.
Welcome home, astronauts.
Yeah. So you can see the smoke. Smoke is the ignition of the retro rocket.
Live signal now from the landing site where China's Shenzhou 18 mission, the return capsule carrying 3 astronauts, landed safely at the designated landing site.
As pilots and 2 act as payload experts. More interesting is that all the payload experts were selected from Hong Kong and Macau.
All right. That certainly also reflects the diversity of backgrounds you mentioned just now. Now, the commander, Mr. Ye Guangfu, has been carried out from the return capsule. As we mentioned, this is not because he's in a bad physical condition, but because of the loss of...
Then we can see the interview from your colleague.
Right. And he's now seated.
A record that he is now the youngest Chinese coming back from outer space.
And he's now 35 years old.
Only 35 years old.
Only 35.
Yeah. He's so young but so experienced. From my personal view, so I think that he has sufficient chance to walk on the moon in the future. Because
could
he's
you
so
identify
young.
from the visual we're getting right now?
Probably that will be Mr. Li Cong.
Mr. Li Cong, the 35-year-old who spent 6 months in space. So Li Cong graduated from China's Aviation University of Air Force, and he was selected to be a member of the 3rd batch of Chinese astronauts in 2020. For them, this is a dream come true, but then we also have astronauts who have also undergone vigorous training, but who haven't really realized their space dreams.
Exactly. Actually speaking, we have 14 astronauts in our first batch, but 5 of them never have the chance to go to outer space. So they are also heroes in my mind.
Absolutely. Now, Li Guangsu is being seated right out of the return capsule, waving to the crowd. Welcome home.
As you mentioned, the 5 astronauts are Wu Jie, Chen Quan, Pan Zhanchun, Zhao Chuandong, and Li Qinglong. So all these 5 heroes are